everyone and welcome to our new video. Today we are going to be discussing a very important topic, which is posture while playing the classical guitar. So the posture of your entire body, of the guitar and of your hands. So let's get into it. So let's start first without the guitar. When we're sitting, as we normally would, we want to be sitting on both hips evenly. We want for our back to be straight, so we're not hunched, we're not overly arched, we're straight in the back and relaxed. The same goes for the shoulders. And now about the chair. It would be perfect if you could have a chair with an adjustable height. That's why piano chairs are the best, since everyone can adjust it to their own needs. For me, for example, it works better when I have a chair that's a little bit lower, since I have a longer torso. Also, when we're sitting, we want to be sitting a bit in the front, further in the front on the chair, because when we would be sitting like this, it's not an ideal playing position. Also, your guitar would be hitting the chair, and that's why we're sitting on the front of the chair, still stable. Now, remember when I said that we're sitting evenly on both hips? That's about to change in a few minutes. Now, we're gonna take our guitar, and the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put the guitar between your legs, so your legs are spread out. And now, you can see that the fretboard is too low, so now in order to play, I would have to bend over like this, and my spine is curved in like that, which is in no way a healthy position. That's why we have to use either a footstool or some kind of support for the guitar to bring the fretboard closer and to keep also our back straight. What I use is the footstool. That's what I started with. That's what I used all of my years of guitar playing. Now we can probably make a different video discussing footstools and rests, but as I said, that's a subject for another video. Now, as I said, since I have a longer torso, and if I'm sitting on a higher chair, for me it works better if the footstool is set up higher, so that I don't have to bend in any way. And you're gonna have to see for yourself what works better. But there's a couple of guidance lines that can help you with that can help you determine the right height of the footstool. So, one of them would be the headstock of your guitar. I was always taught, and I always tried for my headstock to be in line with my eyesight. Why? Because if it wasn't, the guitar would be like this, then I would still have to bend in some way. It would be bad for my right shoulder. If it would be too high for me, this would be hard position to do, in my opinion, since the elbow would be tensed up and you would always have to hold it up. Now the guitar has a pretty great shape right here because it's very form-fitting for our own legs and very comfortable. Now we have 3 points in which we're touching the guitar. So one is at the chest, another one is on the right leg, and on the left leg, and that you can think of the triangle like this. So there's another triangle right here between your guitar and the body. So here at the spot where you touch the guitar with your chest, making a triangle right here with the leg. Now you want to try for this to not be like that. We need to think of where the sound is going when we're playing, that it's going straight to the audience, so not to the ground. And you see what happens with the triangle now. It's getting narrower, or that it's going to the ceiling, So we want to keep it pretty straight, maybe a bit upwards, but that's on you. Just keep in mind that the sound projection should be straight. Now that we've covered the position of your body and of the guitar, let's get into the right hand. Now, where you should put your right hand on the guitar. Usually it's about 2 to 3 fingers away from your elbow. That's the spot where you're gonna be putting your arm on the guitar. Another guideline, another great guideline would be the ring finger, the A finger. So you put it straight on the string, making a 90-degree angle to the guitar. And from then on, you put the arm on the guitar. And that would be the perfect position. Why? Because if you're further away, if the A finger is like that, he's not going to be able to produce a good sound, since the attack on the string will be different than of the other fingers. The same thing is when you're like this, completely different attack on the string. So keep in mind to keep the A finger straight. So the right hand and how the fingers are plucking the string and the position of it and how it affects the sound, that could be not one but several videos of itself. But I'm now going to give you just one more tip for the position of the right hand and of the right hand fingers. What I was taught to do, one of the first things I did with my first teacher when it comes to the right hand, he told me to stretch my arm out and to start making a fist with my right hand. And to do that repeatedly, then make the movement slow motion, slower, 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 and at some point to stop in the middle. And that's the position of your right hand. Now you bring that position to your strings, and that's it. Now there's several schools of thought about the wrist. You can see in history, from historic recordings of classical guitarists, some would play like this, some would play with the wrist a bit more arched, some would play with the wrist a bit more down. But what I do is essentially to keep the hand parallel with the top of the guitar, and the wrist maybe a bit arched, but a tiny bit. What I teach to my students, what I've learned from a teacher, is to tell the kids that they should imagine they're holding an egg with their wrist in between the guitar. I think that's a pretty great picture, you know, to imagine, because it would fit right there, and there's that tiny arch. Now for the left hand position, we already have a video with like do's and don'ts of left hand positioning, which we'll link at the end of this one. But just to repeat myself a bit, the shoulder is relaxed, the elbow is also relaxed and falling with gravity, and also what I'm personally doing and still working on is aiming to press the fingers like a violinist would, you know, to keep them a bit to the left and not straight on the fretboard, because, I mean, you can try it for yourself at home. Try doing this position, like with the fingers angled a bit to the left, and then try doing this one where they're straight. You're gonna sense a lot more tension with them being straight. So now when you're playing a piece, performing, actually making music, of course your position is not gonna be just like this all the time. It's gonna change with the flow of the music, with how you feel the music. Also, you're not gonna be able to stay completely relaxed the whole time. If you're really into it, there's going to be some tension. That's going to be how you're feeling that chord, but then there should also be relaxation after that. What I use to keep me somewhat stable while I'm playing and performing are these anti-slip cloths. I think there are ones that are also especially made for carpets. They have like little holes in them. They also work great when you're playing guitar. Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope you were able to pick up a few tips from this video. And also, just to put a short disclaimer, every body is different, every anatomy is different, and that's why some of the things I talked about or suggested that you do might not work well for you, and the things that are working well for you might not work well for me. There's not one perfect, most correct position, because there are people who play with their legs crossed and without a footstool, and they play amazingly. It works wonderful for them. They're not complaining about anything. There are people who are gonna suggest that you play like this and have a whole philosophy on that, and you're gonna hear that it works perfectly for them. So it's not an exact science. It's about trying out and seeing what works for you, what gives you the best results when you're playing, and what keeps you healthy. Those are the most important things there, after all. So once again, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Hello everyone, and welcome to our new video. In this one, we'll be discussing the position of the left hand. There are two crucial things when it comes to a natural and healthy left hand position, and that's the elbow and the finger placement. For me, the most important thing and really a game changer when it comes to the left hand position is the elbow. What I have noticed with a lot of guitarists, a lot of students, and even some professional guitarists, is that at times they hold their elbow very high like this. And this is in no way a relaxed position, and it can create unnecessary difficulties. So while playing, we should aim for the elbow to be as close to the body as possible, and we should not work against gravity. Imagine playing in this position for 15 minutes. You would need a lot of energy. Therefore, it would lead to lack of efficiency, and in the long run, it can very easily lead to injuries. As for the fingers, let's try and put the fourth finger at a 90-degree angle on the fretboard. Once we do that, the other three should naturally fall a bit to the left. This position is optimal, and it looks very similar to the position of the violinists. Of course, it's not the same since they have a much narrower and a thinner neck, but the position is very relaxed and very natural. The fingers are not straight, they're not tense, and there's no unnecessary stretch between the second and third finger. Of course, there are exceptions when we're playing some difficult spots where we need to adjust the position of the elbow, of the fingers. But the thing is, after those difficult spots, we should always come back to a relaxed position. That's the key to keeping your energy while playing. After tension, always comes relaxation. If you look at some of the greats, like John Williams, Manuel Barrueco, David Russell, you will notice that they all have the head of the guitar more or less at eye level. The shoulders are in line, the elbow is close to the body, it's falling with the gravity, and I think it's really something to think about since they have been playing their whole lives in this position. They're all over 70 and they're all still actively playing concerts and playing fantastic. Now I hope you found this short video helpful, and please don't hesitate to post any questions in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, welcome to our new video. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of sound production. A huge topic for classical guitar, you know, many different opinions on it, different schools, but very, very important topic since nice sound, nice full round sound can be such a fragile thing on classical guitar, and sometimes very difficult to achieve and leaving you very, very frustrated. Okay, so I'll give you a few tips how you can then through practice and through using those tips, you know, get your sound to a new level. So obviously the shape of your nails, the filing, the polishing plays an important role in sound production, but that's a topic for a whole other video, and I'm not going to get into nails a lot today. I'm going to give you a couple of other tips that are going to help you achieve a great sound even when you don't have perfectly polished nails. So, firstly, the angle from which you pluck the string plays a very, very important role in how your sound is going to be. If we're at a, say, 90-degree angle, you know, the sound is going to be very, very thin and bright. You can do this try this at home. But now, if you lower the angle, so if it's not 90 degrees anymore, but I don't know what this is, 60, 45, whatever, I think 45 would be like that, 60 let's say. The sound is going to be much nicer, fuller and rounder. So let's hear it again. Now, it's not just the angle of your whole forearm, it's also where your string meets the nail, from which point of the nail you are actually plucking the string. So, when we're talking about the point of contact with the string, from where we're actually plucking the string, I like to aim for the most left part of the nail. You know, when you're looking at your hands from this angle, so for the most left point on the nail. Why? Because when I'm plucking the string here, I have so much more surface to glide on the string with, rather than when I'm plucking the string from somewhere like the middle or on the right side, the sound is going to be much thinner. I'll do it again on the first string. So this would be from the most left side and then from the other side. As you can hear, there's a big difference. So the more surface we have to glide on the string, the fuller sound we are going to produce. Now that we talked about the angles, the point of contact with the string, when it comes to actual plucking of the string, you should try to, and that's an advice from my teacher, Joaquin Clerc, you should try not to fight the string, but to glide from it. And the faster your attack is with your finger, the stronger the sound is going to be. And the slower the attack is, that's the more piano the sound is going to be. Also, another thing that if you're trying to improve your sound right now, you should try doing very simple exercises and try also exaggerating your movement with the fingers. So just as a tennis player, you know, when they strike the ball, their whole arm goes to the back. We should try to do the same thing with our fingers now. So really go into the palm of your hand, you know, exaggerating that movement and feeling the finger working. Obviously, then when you're playing a piece, you're not going to be able always to do that, but it's a good exercise. And now I'm going to give you a very simple exercise to actually practice your sound. This exercise should not be executed fast. That's not the point of it. The only thing that's going to be fast is the actual stroke of your finger, you know? So you're going to put all of the fingers on the strings and they're going to stay planted. So A finger on the first, M on the second, I on the third, and P on the fourth string. And you're going to start with playing with the I finger. And all of the others are staying planted. And you go back and you make a short break. So I like to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know there are different schools of thought that some people say that you need to press the string inside a bit and then pluck, you know, to get the fullest sound. Sometimes we're doing that, sometimes, but I believe more in not having that kind of tension, you know, all the time where you need to press down and then pluck. I rather believe that we should not, as I said already, not fight the string, you know, glide through it. And also in this exercise, you can really exaggerate the movement of the finger, really go inside the palm. And you can repeat it as much as you want. The next is M, while the other fingers stay planted. And then we have A. Then we have I and M together. You know, always trying to get the nicest sound possible, to have that point of meeting the string be on the left side. M and A. And then the most tricky variant would be I and A together while P and M stay planted. And always the other fingers that are not playing are staying planted. And then I am A together. And as you can see, I'm really finishing the movement, not stopping here, but really going into the palm. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this quick video was helpful to you, and let us know in the comments if you've implemented some of the tips and how they are working for you. Hi everyone, and welcome to our new video. In today's video we are going to be talking about apoyando, rest stroke, and some typical mistakes people do when playing apoyando and what we can do to actually avoid them. As we all know, in guitar playing we have two basic strokes in the right hand, and those are apoyando, which comes from the verb apoyar, which means to rest, so rest stroke. And we also have tirando, free stroke. So let's talk about the position of your hand when we're playing rest stroke. As we know, a lot of people say that you want to be able to maintain the same position when you're playing rest stroke and when you're playing free stroke. I agree with that to a certain point. So, as we know, in guitar playing and guitar pieces, we play most of the time with free stroke, right? But in the middle of that free stroke, when you want to single out a note, to accent it, to make it, you know, louder or with a nicer sound, we use rest stroke. And in those instances, I would say yes, we have to stay with the same position, in which we are playing also the free stroke. But when you're playing a scale with rest stroke, when you're playing a longer time with rest stroke, you know, if it's a beautiful melodic line or something, I think that the position changes of the right hand, that we lean slightly back with it. And now I'll show you a couple of examples of what I mean by that. The example of when the hand stays in the same position for free stroke and for rest stroke, I'm going to use the first movement of Leo Brouwer's Sonata No. 1, just a small fragment of it. example, my position of the right hand didn't change when I played a rest stroke with the I finger to accent a single note. Now I'm going to use a different example when I do change the position of my hand, and I'm going to play the beginning of En los Trigales by Joaquin Rodrigo. So as you see, I'm leaning back with my hand, with my wrist, allowing my fingers I'm using the weight of my fingers, in order to produce a very nice sound with the rest stroke. If I was playing that with free stroke, the position of my right hand would look like this. Now when we're playing rest stroke with the thumb, it's the same thing, but now in the different direction. When we're playing with IMA, we're leaning back. When we're playing with the thumb, we're leaning forward. So this line from Capriccio Árabe, I would play with rest stroke, and I wouldn't play it from the same position in which I play free stroke. Because of the shape of my nail, then I would only get the string with the flesh of my finger and not with the nail, and I want to get it with the nail there to have a more clear sound on the basses. Now that we covered the position of the hand, I want to talk about a few mistakes that I've seen people often do when they're playing rest strokes. So, I oftentimes see this. So you're playing rest stroke, and at one point, both of the fingers are resting on the string below. And we definitely want to avoid that. We want to avoid this, we want to be really quick with the movement and with the change in apoyando. Another mistake would be, it's the same one but kind of opposite. So people often do this, where at some point there isn't a finger resting on the string below. There should always be one finger which is resting on the string below. Another thing that people do is they keep on pressing this resting string when they're finished with plucking the string they're actually playing. I'm exaggerating a bit now, but this can definitely create unnecessary tension in the right hand, and it can hinder your speed that you want to achieve with apoyando, and also it can create not such a nice sound which you're aiming for when you're playing with rest stroke. So, to sum it up, when we're playing rest stroke, if we're playing a scale or a nice melodic line, we should change a bit the position of the hand. The wrist goes slightly to the back. So if we're at a 90-degree angle on the string when we're playing free stroke, when we're playing rest stroke, we're leaning a bit. It's not too much. It's not like that. But we're leaning just a bit in order to give space to the fingers and to really use the weight of the fingers and drive through the string. The next thing would be always make sure that one finger is resting on the string below. The movement, the exchange is quick. Even when you're playing, when you're practicing the rest stroke really slowly, the exchange should always be quick. Then you don't want to go too high up with the fingers, you know, we want to eliminate space for mistakes, not create a bigger space for mistakes. So just a comfortable distance for your hand. And we also want to relax the finger immediately after it plucks the string and it goes to the rest string. Rest stroke, we're resting on the string below. So it's almost like it bounces back, you know, from that resting string. You should be able to feel it, so try playing the rest stroke very, very slowly and feel your finger relax immediately when it's done plucking. So I hope this short video was helpful, and let us know in the comments what you think about it and how you yourself practice rest stroke. See you in the next one.
Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today I'm excited to introduce you to one of the most important sets of exercises for the right hand, Mauro Giuliani's 120 right hand studies. These exercises are part of his book Metodo per Chitarra, first published in 1812. I have been practicing them daily as part of my technical routine for quite some time, and I would highly recommend them to every guitarist. They are perfect for both beginners and advanced players who want to improve their control, precision and speed. So, today we will dive deeper into these exercises, but before we begin, there are some few technical details to keep in mind. If you are using the first edition, here are the finger indications. 1 dot represents the index finger, 2 dots represent the middle finger, 3 dots represent the ring finger, and a tick mark represents the thumb. I usually play these exercises at a tempo of 60 on the metronome and often with my first morning coffee. As you progress, feel free to increase the tempo gradually for greater precision. Initially, I repeated each exercise 4 times, but now I play each one only once, without breaks, skipping the final C major chord to maintain the flow. To make things easier, I have divided the exercises into categories. Now I will show you them and also play a few of them. So, in first category, we have first 17 exercises, and there we can find a different fingerings based on triplets. Exception is exercise number 1, where we play a simple chords, where Giuliani showed us which chord are we going to use through these exercises. So, don't forget your metronome. In second category, we have exercises from 18 to 24, where we have chords with 3 notes in triplets. Here we can focus on evenly and precisely playing chords in triplets. So, in exercises 25 to 35, we can find now 6 notes in one beat. And in my opinion, they are excellent for developing speed and finger agility. In exercises from 36 to 50, we can find 2-note patterns in 16th note, and they are great for improving accuracy in 16-note passages. Exercises 51 to 65 are exercises for repetitions, and they are essential for training repetitive motions. Before I introduce you a new section of exercises, it's important to say that we can also be free with fingerings. For example, in these exercises for repetitions, first I played it with my thumb, I finger and M finger, but of course it would be very important and very helpful if we play them, for example, with P, M and A, for example. Yeah. Even with thumb, I and A. After all these fast exercises 66 to 80 are 8-note exercises, and I really like them. Why? Because they are slower exercises that allow you to focus on tone control and sound quality. next category are exercises from 81 to 120, and also I love all of them, but this last category is for me the most interesting one, because we have more melodic patterns and various fingerings. So, at the end, I would love to say that, okay, you may not practice all 120 exercises every day like I do, but I firmly believe that every guitarist should work through them at least once during their musical journey. They are essential for developing technique, precision, and control in the right hand. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, leave a comment and share your experience. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you in the next video.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our new video. So we are back with new content for you after a fairly long and busy summer, and we also hope that you've had a wonderful summer as well. Today the topic that we're going to talk about is a topic that's been requested on one of our previous videos, and that is thumbs of both hands, so stay tuned. Let's first get into the right hand thumb and the position of it. So when we place the thumb on the strings, I always aim to see a small triangle between the thumb and the index finger. So it doesn't have to be like that, but a small one is just enough, so that I know when I pluck the string with the thumb that it has its own direction, and also if I were to pluck the string with the index finger, that it also has its own direction to move and no obstacles in it. If, when the thumb is finished with the plucking motion, it touches the index finger, that's no problem. But I don't want it to be like this, and for the thumb not to have any place or to go into the hand. That wouldn't be very efficient in the long run. Now there's many things that we can do with the thumb in the matter of sound, and also we are going to be changing the position slightly of the right hand depending on if we're playing rest stroke or free stroke with the thumb. So let's first talk about free stroke with the thumb of the right hand. We know that in the previous video where we talked about sound production and how to achieve the fullest sound possible, we talked about we want to pluck the string with the left side of the nail so that we have more surface to glide on the string with. With the thumb, it's exactly the same, but the opposite. So we don't want to, if we want to achieve the fullest sound possible, we don't want to pluck on the left side because the thumb has the other direction of plucking. So then we are left with the fairly thin sound because we don't have enough surface here. So we actually want to pluck with the right side of the nail. I'm showing you also on the upper strings just so that you can hear the difference. Now another thing that we can use when playing with the thumb, both in free and rest stroke, is playing with the flesh of a thumb, and this will allow us to have a much warmer color than playing with the nail. Or in rest stroke, it can be a really nice effect when placed on just the right spot. Now, let's talk about the rest stroke in thumb. So when we're playing rest stroke, if we're playing a melodic line with the thumb in the bass and we want to do it rest stroke, then the position of the hand is going to change, and you actually want to use the gravity and the weight of your thumb to achieve the fullest and nicest sound possible. So we have, let's say, the example of Capriccio Arabe of the introduction. So if you choose to play this line with the thumb, you can actually use this kind of position in the right hand. Now, actually plucking and playing is not the only role of the thumb of the right hand. We actually have like two more, and the first one would be the role of a stabilizer. So when you're playing a melody with the I and M, let's say a melodic line, then I always aim for the thumb to be on one of the bass strings, just resting there and allowing me to have stability in the hand and allowing me to have a much nicer movement and sound with I and M, let's say. That's what I'm doing. So I have the example of the beginning of Junto al Generalife from Joaquin Rodrigo. So it starts with a chord and then it goes straight into a melodic line. And the chord we play the thumb on the sixth string, and I am A, fourth, third, and second. So the fifth string is actually free, and I can rest my thumb immediately after plucking the chord on the fifth string. So it looks something like this. Rather than so in this second option, I feel I don't feel as comfortable. It's kind of tricky for me to stay precise and to have the nicest sound possible, and I think also there's like a slight difference in the sound. Also, when playing scales, I always aim for my thumb to be resting on a bass string, or it depends on if I'm playing the scale with rest stroke or with free stroke, or on which strings I'm playing it, but I always want my thumb to be on a string for stabilization when I'm playing scales. The only exception would be if it's something on the sixth string, then I keep the thumb in the air as it is. So for example, I have this scale in Ponce's Folia variations. So I always have to pluck the fifth string in the beginning, and then I place my thumb on the sixth string and have support from it. So once again. So the next role of the thumb is stopping the resonances and unwanted sounds, and I do this much more with the thumb and with the right hand than with the left hand. And here I have two options. I can either stop them with the flesh of the thumb. So let's say you're playing, let's use this as an exercise. We're going to do A major and D major chords alternating between the two. So like... So always after plucking the bass, I stop the bass from before. Or I can use this part of the thumb, of the finger, to actually go in between the strings, and then at the same moment I am stopping the bass from before and preparing the next one. Something like that. So you can use this in pieces that you play. Let's say, for example, there is the start of En los Trigales. So after the introduction is played, here actually, if I didn't do this, it would sound, if I only stopped the sixth string, it would sound like, I would still have resonance from the fifth string in there. And I don't want that, so I do the following. I pluck the G, and then immediately put my thumb on the fifth string, and with this part of my finger, I've damped the sixth string and put the flash on the fifth string. Now, the thumb of the left hand, a lot of people have issues in the left hand with pain, with too much pressure, and sometimes it's not only from pressing too much with the fingers that are pressing on the fret, but it's also from pressing too much with the thumb. Once again, the thumb of the left hand is only support for the fingers that are pressing. It should not have to use a lot of force itself. We don't need it at all. So it's only support. Now the position of where we should put the thumb in the left hand on the fretboard, it varies. It also depends on your hand. For me, it usually stays somewhere behind the second finger or between the first and second, somewhere around that spot. And it's also depending on where it is on the width of the fretboard, it's never in the same place. Sometimes it's here, depending on which position I'm doing, sometimes it's there, so it's always flexible. So I don't want the thumb to be the whole time right there, because then I'm creating a different position also with my wrist. My wrist is curved and the hand is tensed up, and this can lead to problems when playing. I also don't want it to be like right here, peeking out of the fretboard, because then I don't have good fluid motions with the fingers, and I'm not able to press the strings cleanly, to achieve a clean sound. So somewhere in the middle is like the optimal position, but then during playing pieces and shifting positions, you are changing the spot where you are with the thumb on the fretboard. Now, when it comes to shifting, the thumb is always following the position of the left hand. Sometimes we see in students that they have a shift and then the thumb stays here, and then they're like, oh, I'm not able to play this well, or it doesn't sound clean. Well, no wonder. So it does always follow the position of your hand. Now, also with shifting, we have gliding with the thumb, and we also have where the thumb releases the pressure and then comes back once you're in position. So let's use the example of the second Villalobos study for that. So I play it like, so you see my thumb is, now it's not here because I'm pressing the small bar here, the A major, and I also need the open first string to sound. So that's why I can't press it like this, otherwise I would damp the open first string. So the thumb needs to be right here, and then. So right here, I'll do it once again slowly. Now when I'm shifting, the second finger guides me to the next position, and the thumb is in the air basically, and then once I'm here in position, then I allow it to go back to the fretboard. And also you may notice that in this case, so we started here with the thumb, when I go to this position the thumb is going to be right there, because this would be too difficult for me to play. Not too difficult, but it wouldn't feel as comfortable as this. Also, when I'm going back, I'm not sliding with the thumb, I'm letting the second finger guide me, and I release the pressure of the thumb and then put it on again. Now there are other cases where you might need to slide when shifting. For example, Hinastera, the fourth movement. Here, if I'm releasing the pressure, it's only slightly and only for a very, very, very short time. In the fast motion, in the performance tempo, I even don't think I have time to release it. So that's why the thumb slides on the fretboard, basically. Another thing about the position of the left hand thumb and how we're actually using it to create support for the other fingers. Sometimes we also see that people press with the thumb like this in the left hand, which I think creates some tension right there. So what I do is I actually press like that, and the part of my thumb that touches the neck of the guitar is actually this part. So this is where also my my skin is a bit thicker. So this is the part that I use. It can be different for you. You may use this one or that. Depends also on the anatomy of your hand. But for me, it's this one, and I put the thumb flat, like it's actually very relaxed when I'm using it as a support. Thank you for sticking around till the end, and we are always happy to read your questions, comments, and suggestions. So we'll see you in the next video. Hello everyone, and welcome to our new video. The latest series we've had on this channel was 7 days of exercises, and the one video where we've had a lot of response to a lot of positive things was the arpeggios of Abel Carlevaro. Therefore, we have decided to dedicate a whole new series only to these arpeggio exercises of Carlevaro. So to go through each group. Now it gets more complicated with each group, and we'll go through it very slowly and show you guys a couple of different ways to practice it. So grab your guitar and let's go. So in the first video that we did of these arpeggio exercises, it starts with the thumb being always played together with the first note of the arpeggio group. Now the next step is that we play with the thumb 2 times during the arpeggio. So we have 2 8th notes in the arpeggio itself. So the example number 13 sounds something like this. Without any preparation of the thumb. Now you can do this one in various ways. First I did without any preparation, Now you can do articulation of the thumb, so playing the notes in the bass short. That you can do is playing the first note short, letting the second ring, but preparing the thumb for the next bass. Up there once or two times, so you see how it forces you to do something that you don't normally do with the thumb, and therefore prepares you for various situations that are going to come up in your repertoire. So for example, when you need to play the first note, you need to articulate it, or to play it short, and you have to prepare for the next note, and so on. That's what we're practicing with this. Exercise number 14, in the arpeggio we have A-I-M-I. Now also here you can do all of it with the various preparations or staccato in the thumb. Also, you can do legato but with preparation for the next note. So for example, immediately after the thumb plays the second bass note, you prepare it for the next string. Exercise number 15, A-M-A-I. Number 16, A-I-A-M. If you need, please do pause the video and try the exercises out in your own comfortable tempo, because Carlevaro writes it a couple of times, so more times throughout the book, that these exercises need to be executed slowly, and only when they're done slowly and controlled and they're, at the high level, then you can accelerate them. So don't lose control in order to gain speed, because you want to play these exercises fast. No, play them very, very slowly. It's all about being controlled here, and also practicing the various ways of preparation and articulation with the thumb. Now for number 17, we have the M finger playing together with the thumb. So the arpeggio is M-A-M-I. An ascending movement of the first two fingers, M-A, it is also possible to practice this exercise with preparing M-A always. Or with the thumb being played staccato and still preparing M and A. Or without any preparation in the thumb or in M-A-I. Number 18, M-I-M-A. M-A-I-A. Here you can do two preparations. First M-A and then I-A. Number 20, M-I-A-I. And from number 21, we have the index finger playing together with the thumb. I-M-A-M. Number 22, I-A-M-A. Number 23, I-M-I-A. And number 24, I-A-I-M. exercises. You see we've done with the thumb playing always 2 8th notes in the bass on one string and then transferring to the 5th, 4th and going back. The next video is going to be with the thumb playing dotted rhythm, so this one is going to be fun. And yeah, see you in the next video, and thank you so much for commenting, subscribing. It means a lot to us. So see you in the next one. We're back again with another warm-up exercise, and this time it's all about scales. So this particular exercise was shown to us by a friend, but I think that it originally comes from Professor Gallén, and if it does, we want to thank him for it because it's a great exercise. So you start on the 6th string in the 1st position, and you're going to be now playing the notes of the F major chord. So you're playing 1, 2, 4, F, G, A, and as you can see there's this gap of 1 fret between the 1st and 2nd finger. You repeat the same fingering on the 5th string. 4th string has a new one. It's also 1, 2, 4, but now you're in 2nd position and it's the normal position. And 2nd and 1st string, 1, 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. And you go back. So why is this exercise so great? In the left hand, you're constantly switching positions. So you have also, like, you're doing 2 strings, same fingering, the next 2 strings, the same fingering, the next 2 strings, the same fingering. And your 3rd position, 2nd position, 1st position. In the right hand, you can do all sorts of combinations. You can do IM, IA, MA, AMI, tirando or apoyando. It's up to you. It would be great if you could practice both with all of those combinations. Now, what's so good about it for the right hand is that you're practicing changing the strings always with another combination of fingers. What I mean is, first you play 3 times the 6th string. Okay, I, M, I, for example. Then you go M, I, M on the 1st string. And then it's again I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M, I, M. When we're changing strings, we usually want to, or at least I always look for a fingering. If it's in a piece, I look for a good fingering that allows me to change the strings in the most natural way. So that means if I play the lower string with I, the higher string is going to be with M, and not the other way around. But sometimes we just can't avoid it. So we also have to practice that, switching the strings like this, so that M plays the lower string and I the higher string. So the next thing that you do, you go to the next position. Until the 7th position, and then you can also go back. So let us know how it went, and we hope you had fun with another warm-up exercise. Hello everyone, my name is Emma Käppel, and today I'm going to show you a great warm-up exercise for both the right hand and the left hand. With the right hand, you're going to play the most basic arpeggio that we can play. So thumb is on the 4th string, I finger 3rd string, M finger 2nd, and A finger the 1st string. And what you're going to be doing throughout the exercise with the right hand is playing P, I, M, A, M, I, B. So going back and forth with that arpeggio. With the left hand, we're going to start in the 9th position. So first finger is on the 9th fret on the 4th string, then second finger on the third finger on the 2nd, and 4th finger on the 1st string. And you're going to also be doing this back and forth motion in the left hand. So it's first going to be this when you're playing P, I, M, A, and then when you're going A, M, I, P, you're going to switch your fingers like so. So what I mean by that, I'm going to play it very slowly now. This until the first position, and then you can also go back to the 9th position like that. So why is it so great? In the right hand, you're doing the most basic thing, the most basic arpeggio we can do, and you're always doing it controlled, not too fast, and you're paying attention to your sound. And also, it would be great if when you're doing PIMA, to prepare all the fingers, and backwards you're doing no preparation. So you're practicing both with preparation and without. In the left finger, you're trying to press every finger always as good, not too hard, of course. You're trying to get the most clean sound that you can from both hands. And also it's good for finger independence. Now, you can do a variation of this exercise where you include the shifts. So, you're always doing the back and forth motion with both hands, but now shifts come into play. So, you're doing first in the 9th position, and now, when you're supposed to go back, you switch to the 1st position, then you go to the 8th fret, to the 2nd, 7th, 3rd, 6th, 4th, 5th, so the sum will always be 10. Okay, that's how you can memorize it quickly and not get confused. So 9, 1, 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5, 5. So I hope you have fun trying this little exercise out, and let us know if you would like to see more. Hello everyone and welcome to our new video. My name is Emma and today I will be showing you in detail the chromatic scale that I did in my previous warm-up routine video. And yeah, it's a very fun one, and I wanted to dedicate a whole video to it to really go in detail on the fingerings and the principles of it and the ways that you can practice. This particular scale was shown to us by the amazing flamenco guitarist Javier Conde. He actually teaches a flamenco course at the University of Music here in Düsseldorf, and I think when he first showed it to someone, it spread so fast that at some point you could hear anytime that you would hear a guitar practicing at the university, you would hear them also practice this scale. And also the people that didn't really attend the flamenco course knew it, you know. It was so fun for everyone, and I think also so effective. And that's why I also want to share it with you guys. So we start in the 9th position, so at the end of the fretboard where the body of the guitar starts, and I'm going to divide it in segments so that you can follow along better and understand it better. So the first segment is going to be over 3 strings, and then we always move. So first we do it on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, then the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, then 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then at the end 4th, 5th, and 6th string. So first part of that segment on 3 strings is on the 1st string 4, 3, 2, 1. First is that, simple as that. Then we have 2, 1, and on the 2nd string 4, 3. After that, we have 4, 3, 2, 1 on the 2nd string. And then on the 3rd. So once again, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you start the same exact thing from the 2nd string. The same thing from the 3rd string. And the same thing from the 4th string. So let's do once again just that very slowly in the 9th position. Transition to the 5th position, and it's not a jump as you've seen me play it at the beginning, but we change gradually the positions. So first we play, as we played, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the 6th string. We stay in the same position and play 4, 3, 2, 1 on the 5th string. And now from the 4th string you change the position, so you're in 8th position now. 3rd string, 7th position, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2nd string, 6th position, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 1st string, 5th position, and that's where you start the whole process again. So let's do this segment once again. So, 9th position, still 9th position, 8th, 7th, 6th, and 5th. officially. I'm not sure, but I prolonged it in the way that I do the same thing, but I go back to the 9th position. So I do this also in the first. The whole thing throughout once, just so that you can hear. Where I end the scale actually. So besides the obvious, practicing it with rest stroke and free stroke, I do mostly rest stroke most of the time, and doing different fingering. So right now I did alteration between I and M. You can do I and A, M and A, and even AMI, which would be very tricky, or PI. So besides the obvious things how you can practice it, you can also do you could also do staccato practice with it, or practicing, I wouldn't say staccato is one thing, but like practicing it with preparation of each finger. And here it's not going to be staccato, this note, the C sharp, because I'm transitioning to the second string. So that's why I like to call it practicing with preparation. There's the possibility of practicing it with the dotted rhythm. Or the other way around. Or actually practicing dynamics throughout the scale. found this helpful and that you will have fun practicing this amazing chromatic scale. I think it's really great. You know, we're all used to practicing the chromatic scale, like, you know, just going up and down or whatnot, and, you know, always having that 1 2 3 4 or 4 3 2 1. And here you have a bit more to do, you know, and that's still a chromatic scale, still practicing that movement of the fingers of the left hand and coordination with the right hand. So I think it's a fantastic exercise, and yeah, let us know how your practice goes in the comments. See you in the next one. Hello everyone, and welcome to our new video. I'm Emma from the Art of Classical Guitar, and today we're going to be diving into the topic of tremolo. We're going to talk about what tremolo actually is, how to get started with it. I'm going to give you guys a couple of exercises for some of you who are just starting out with tremolo, as well for some of you who are advanced with it. And I'll also give you some beginner tremolo pieces, some recommendations for that. So what is tremolo exactly? The word itself means to tremble. And in music in general and in other instruments, it's a type of ornamentation. So you'll see it if there's a note, then it's going to be crossed with a couple of lines just like this. And it means that you have to repeat that note like 4 times. So it would, in other instruments, it would sound something like this. For example. And it's very common in both instruments. Violin, viola, cello. So the way we do tremolo in guitar, it's a technique that's specific to us and our instrument. As you know, when you play one note on the guitar, any note, you will get a natural decrescendo. And there's no way for us to play a crescendo on one note, and there's no way for us to make it last very long. That's something that both instruments can do very easily. Tremolo for us is a way of doing that easily. Well, easily. Tremolo is in no way an easy technique, but it's a way of us for us to achieve a longer line, a longer singed line, and also to make a dynamic on one note only. So the way we're doing tremolo in guitar, as you already know, is the thumb is going to be playing a bass line, and the other 3 fingers are going to be repeating one string after one another. So what is very tricky about tremolo is for it to be very even and very precise all the time. And for a nice tremolo, we really need that precision and that evenness. So if you're just starting out with tremolo, it's going to be hard in the beginning, but stay practicing and it'll get there. In my opinion, a base for a good tremolo is to have good arpeggio. Because for me, from the technique point of it, how we play tremolo, P-A-M-I, it's just an arpeggio on one string, so to say, 2 strings, well, if the thumb is playing the bass. So my advice to you would be to practice a lot of arpeggios. What you can do, a lot of different arpeggios, not just the one that is like tremolo, but a lot of different arpeggios and different combinations. You can find amazing arpeggio exercises in Giuliani's 120 right hand exercises, and also in various technique books and methods. When you're practicing your arpeggio, you're also going to be trying to do it as even and as precise as possible, because as I said, for me, that's the ground for a great tremolo. So let me give you an actual example of what I'm talking about. One of my favorite arpeggio studies when I was younger was the El Abejorro from Emilio Pujol, a super fun study. This one. And you can practice it, of course, and it's amazing to do it in the standard fingering, P-I-M-I. But you can go a step further and do it with many different combinations. The next obvious one would be P-M-A-M. Those two are always tricky, the alteration between those two. And now you can practice tremolo with this etude. And I don't mean the actual tremolo, but you're playing the etude as it's written, the notes that are written. You're just doing the tremolo fingering in the arpeggio. So E-A-M-I. And that's I think it's a fantastic exercise. But before all that, you need to get yourself acquainted with tremolo, actually. So the first step when you're starting out with tremolo, after you have your great arpeggios and everything, I would recommend doing first on one string, very, very slowly, the actual tremolo fingering. And try getting the sound as even as you possibly can. You might have noticed my thumb has a different sound on the first string than the other three. The other three are mostly even. So of course the thumb is going to have a bit of a different sound because it's the heaviest finger, has most weight when it's plucking, but try to get as even as possible. Once that sounds good, transfer to the second string. And trust me, every exercise that we're talking about today, you need to be doing it also, all of them on the second string, because the second string is super difficult because it's inside. On the first string, you have a lot of space right here. On the second, not so much. So we're doing this for our hand to get acquainted and for your fingers to get acquainted with the movement that you need for tremolo. And as I said already, to get the even sound. The next step is, you're also doing it, by the way, super, super slowly, is for the thumb to play a different string. So your tremolo is in the first and thumb is playing, let's say, the second. And you're gonna do that one also with the thumb on every string. Then the next thing to do would be to play the tremolo on the second string. And thumb on third, and then fourth, and so on. Now once you've got that, I would do tremolo with preparation, or staccato tremolo, very staccato. And you're also trying for every note to sound the same and to be very precise. You can do it even slower. Next step would be for the thumb to play another string. And even then, your A finger is falling on the first string, in this case, right after the thumb. So maybe I put it like this for you to see. And also my thumb is falling on the second string right after I. Now once all of that goes well, you can try playing it a bit faster. Now legato. With the metronome, of course. I'm a big fan of the metronome. And trying to see how higher speed feels for you, and if you're maintaining the precision and the evenness of the sound. So now I would like to get into various exercises that I do for tremolo, that I did since I was a kid, and I would like to show them to you. So there's a couple of them from Scott Tennant's Pumping Nylon book, a fantastic book. And those I've been doing since I've been playing tremolo. So I think for about 12, 13 years now. So there's one that goes like this. So basically you're doing it, the tremolo staccato, 3 times slow and then 2 times double the tempo. The next one is 1 time slow, 2 times double the tempo. And the third one is 2 times slow, 4 times double the tempo. What I love doing in general when there's a hard passage, I love to practice it with different rhythmical patterns and dotted rhythms, my favorites. And I also do that with tremolo. Staccato. Also the other way. And I also do that when the thumb is playing different strings. There's another great exercise from Scott Tennant's Pumping Nylon, where the thumb is always playing first the first string, then the second, then going back to the first. The other fingers are playing the tremolo. I love that one. So different tremolo pieces made me practice the tremolo differently and incorporate different tremolo exercises into my routine. For example, when I started out with recuerdos, my teacher proposed that I did so you're playing an A major chord and then E7. I did a lot of that one. I mean, it's nothing super special, you know, it's very basic, but the thumb is always going like this. And you can make it more interesting. So the thumb is going back and forth on the strings. When I was playing Reverie by Regondi, that was the first tremolo piece I saw that did the tremolo on the 4th string in the piece. And it was hard to do for various reasons on that spot, and that's when I started also practicing the tremolo on the 4th string as well. So what I did was, and it's great also for string crossing, which I'll come to also later, but I practiced the C major thirds with tremolo. So and back. Also in that piece, I noticed that there's a lot of string crossing in tremolo. A lot of it, well, I don't mean tremolo on different strings at the same time, but what I mean is that it's going like this. I'll do it once again slowly. It goes from second to third. And that's when I also started practicing string crossing in the tremolo. So what I did was I would start with thumb playing the 5th string, tremolo on the 5th, thumb playing the 6th string and tremolo on the 5th. And then I would go to the next two strings, 5th and 4th. I would do that once again. Then I would repeat 5th and 4th. Once again. Repeat. Then I would do the same, but with one string in between. So thumb is playing the 6th and the tremolo is on the 4th. I would also go back. Then I would do with 2 strings in between. And 4 strings in between. 3 strings in between. Another awesome exercise for tremolo is the flamenco tremolo. So tremolo with 5 notes instead of 4. B, I, A, M, I. You can also do it with the thumb playing other strings, of course, and on the 2nd string. So there are many variations that you could do. For example, I do also this one, P, M, I, A, M, I. So I'm doing the minute tremolo, P, M, I, and then A, M, I. And you can do it the other way, P, I, M, A, M, I. Another thing I was learned to do while playing tremolo was to always plant the A finger after playing the thumb. So it would look something like this. Maybe this angle is better. I stopped doing it at some point just to have more of a flow in tremolo, because sometimes I noticed that it was bothering me a bit. But I still do it when there's a harmonic change in the piece and when there are shifts I plant. And to me it sounds nicer also when I do that. So as I said, it's a complicated technique on guitar and it's a long process to get it there. But I do have some beginner tremolo pieces which are not very long or not super demanding, and I think are great if you want to start playing tremolo at some point and not just doing the exercises on open strings. So there's the Carcassi Etude number 7, which I think is great because it's not tremolo the whole piece, it's tremolo together with arpeggio, alternating with it. sounds just as beautiful when it's in a medium tempo. Another one would be the little tremolo piece of Jose Viñas. It's called Sueño, and I'll link it down below, performance and the scores, and also the Percussi Etude. For me, the most difficult tremolo piece is hands down Reverie by Conde. I've struggled with it a lot, and my teacher at the time was always bugging me about my tremolo not being even enough for in that piece, and I was practicing it like crazy really, and that's when I developed a lot of those exercises with string crossings and everything. But I think the hardest tremolo piece to start is Recuerdos de la Alhambra, because it starts on the second string. You need to be super precise not to catch the first string, because it's not gonna sound nice. If you want even more tremolo exercises, and I can say honestly there's never enough tremolo exercises, I warmly recommend you checking out Hubert Käppel's Bible of the Classical Guitar Technique, because I think there's just every possible tremolo exercise in there already. So I do hope you enjoyed this one. Let us know in the comments how you liked it, and let us know how your tremolo practice is going. Hi everyone, welcome to our new video. This is a video of a quick tremolo exercise that you can incorporate in your routine. Why is it so great? I absolutely love it, because you're doing, the left hand is practicing thirds, always trying to play it precisely, everything, and in the right hand you're playing tremolo. So it's C major thirds, starting from the 5th and 4th string, then 4th and 3rd, 3rd and 2nd, and 2nd and 1st. And we go also back. With this, when you're practicing it with tremolo, you're going to play tremolo on the 4th string, and you're going to always practice going to a new string while playing tremolo. So essentially you're doing which we know is very difficult when you're playing a tremolo piece. And hereby I would like to invite you all to a tremolo intensive course, which I will be doing in May, every Saturday in May, online through Zoom, and we will be talking about a lot of exercises, etudes for tremolo, and diving into different practice methods on how to make this incredibly difficult technique better for yourself. So yeah, all the info you have in description, and I hope to see a lot of you there. Hello everyone, and welcome to our new video. My name is Emma, and with today's video we will be starting a new series on our channel where we will bring you new exercises each day for a week. And we will try to do this series each month, so that each month you get 7 new technical exercises from us. So let's get into it. We are going to start with some arpeggio exercises, and for that I'm going to be using the second book of Abel Carlevaro, where it's all about chords and arpeggios. So he first starts with the thing that he calls joint action of the thumb and ring finger. So they're essentially in an arpeggio, they're always going to be playing together. At first the thumb and A, then the thumb and M, then the thumb and I. And what he does in the left hand is he uses just a basic diminished chord, you know, all the minor thirds in there, from the first to the fourth string. So we have F sharp on the first string, C on the second, A on the third, and D sharp on the fourth string. And the first arpeggio is A-M-I-M. So this is what we're doing in the right hand, and also on each first note of the arpeggio, so always with the A finger, you're going to be plucking the thumb. First the sixth string, then the fifth, then the fourth, then the fifth, and then we change positions in the left hand. And it's so that the whole exercise would be that you have to go through all of the positions on the fretboard until the 11th, and then go back to the first position. So let's get into it. Doing with my thumb. I'm always preparing the thumb, I'm not letting it hang in the air. So after I'm done with plucking the sixth string, the thumb falls immediately on the fifth string. For this particular arpeggio, I would like to suggest two ways of practicing it. You can either do everything without any preparation or with sequential preparation, so preparation of each finger, but not together, since it's a descending arpeggio, and in a descending arpeggio we don't want to prepare all the fingers at the same time. You can try it, see how it feels, but it's going to feel a bit awkward to do, like you're having some kind of an obstacle, but you won't have that feeling with sequential preparation and with no preparation at all. When we're doing the no preparation, we're planting the thumb on the next bass string that we have to play. So I'm going to do it once without any prep. Sequential preparation. Arpeggio we have is A-I-M-I, and the same thing here. You can either practice it without any preparation for the A-M-I fingers, or with sequential preparation. So let's go through that a bit. also have number 4, which is still the joint action of the thumb and A finger, A-I-A-M. The joint action of the thumb and middle finger. So now they're always going to be playing together, and we start the arpeggios from the M finger. Always keep in mind that you're planting the thumb immediately on the next bass string that you need to play. The first one of this group, M-A-M-I. Now, since we have an ascending motion in the beginning in the first two notes, so M and A, my natural instinct was to plant M and A, and you can also practice it like this, or let's say without any preparation. The next one is M-I-M-A. Number 7, M-A-I-A. Number 8, M-I-A-I. Now we have the joint action of thumb and index fingers, so they're always going to be playing together, and we start the arpeggios from the I finger. The first one is I-M-A-M, and in this one you can plant all of them together in the beginning, since we have a nice ascending I-M-A arpeggio right there. So let's try it out. Next one, I-A-M-A. A-I-M. So that was it for arpeggios today. I know that we said that we're going to do only one exercise per video, and this was like 12, but essentially they all fall under the same thing, you know, because we always have the thumb playing on the first note of the arpeggio. So thumb is always playing quarter notes and the others are 16th notes. The next group is where we play twice with the thumb in the arpeggio, and that will probably be for next month, an arpeggio exercise. Yeah, we hope you enjoyed this one. Let us know in the comments if you've tried it out and which was the easiest and which was the trickiest of these for you. And we'll see you in the next one. Hello there, and welcome to the second day of our technique exercises series, where we're going to be focusing on scales. So today we're going to be working on a minor scale, and we don't often play minor scales, we don't often practice them. I'm the same. I rarely have minor scales in my routine, but they are very fun to do, very different than major scales because there are more shifts in them, and also when you play the ascending scale, then you play melodic minor, and when you're going back, you're going to be playing natural minor. So you have different fingerings in the ascending scale and the descending, that's why it's tricky, and also different shifts. I'm going to be using the fingering from Under Segovia for this A minor scale, so let's get into it. Let's first just play through it, and then we're going to go through each of the shifts individually. Let's break it down. We start in the 5th position, playing the A, 1, 3, 4, then we go to the 5th string, 1, 3, and now it's already time to change positions. So we jump to the 9th position, 1, 3, 4, 4th string, 1, 2, 4, 3rd string, 1, 3, 2nd string, 1, 1. So we change position, we're now in the 10th. 3, 4, 1st string, 1, 3, and again we have to change positions. We go to the 14th. 1, 3, 4, and this is the ascending melodic minor. Then now as we're going back, we played here F sharp, G sharp, A. Now we're going to play G natural and F natural. So G natural with the 2nd finger. Now we change positions. Now we're in the 10th. 4, 3, 1, 2nd string. 4, 3, 1, 3rd string. 3, 1. We change positions again. 7th position. 3, 1, 4th string. 4, 3, 1, 5th string. 4, 2, 1, 6, 4. Change positions to the 5th. 4, 3, 1. And there we have it, the whole scale. So let's just count how many position shifts we have. This is the first one. This is the second one, but it's minor, you know, because we just go with the 1st finger. 3rd, 4th, 5th, counted correctly, we have 6 in total. So that's why it's both tricky and also fun to practice, to get these shifts down, to really have them practiced well. Now, what you can do when you start with it, if you're still not super sure about the fingering and the shifts, you practice it, of course, very slowly, but also to not bore your right hand too much. We can do 16th notes on one note, so essentially we repeat each note 4 times. How your left hand is going to learn the fingering very slowly. Then you can do, of course, very different things when it comes to scale, you know, different rhythmical patterns. You can practice it with dynamics, you can practice vibrato on scales, and you can do all of that. So the rhythmical patterns only on one note, as we just did, or whatever you want, or you can do it playing one note at a time. So for example, doing a dotted rhythm. And the other way around. Practicing another rhythmical pattern, only playing one note at a time. And so on and so on. Of course, in the right hand, using different fingerings, I am, IA, MA, AMI, practicing both rest stroke and free stroke, also doing it with PI, PM, why not? You can go absolutely crazy with it. One thing I would recommend when it comes to the left hand is when you're playing the same string, that you keep also the fingers that played before on the string, so that you're not doing playing like this would make it very hard to do a scale like this, or any scale in a faster tempo. So we want to do this, and then when it's time to go to the next string, you then pull off all the other things from the string below. Also, when I'm doing this jump right here, I also have my first finger on the string to help the fourth finger. I don't leave the fourth finger alone right there. Here also, I don't leave the third finger. I keep the first finger on the string to help. Here I don't have the first finger on the string because it was already on the 5th string. That would be kind of awkward, but it's the end of the scale, so it's not that bad, and it's not super big. Right now we've been using, or rather to say I've been using the Segovia fingerings, but try and find your own. See if you can avoid a certain shift, or if you can shift prior to that or later to make it a bit easier for yourself, and if you manage, let us know in the comments what better options you have found. We'll see you in the next one. Hello everyone, and welcome to the third day of the Technical Exercises series. My name is Emma, and today we're going to be focusing on shifts. And for today I'm going to be using once again Abel Carlevaro's technique book, and this is the third book all about the left hand. So let's get straight into it. This one he calls displacement by substitution. So it's by substitution of one finger on the same string. So we start pretty easy. It's going to be just alternating the fingers 1 and 2, first on the 6th string, then on the 5th, and so on until we get to the 4th string. So it says to do in the right hand I and M. You can do I and M, you can do it also with the P. To me personally it doesn't matter because the focus is on the left hand. And the exercises go something like this. He also comes back to the 6th string. So as you can see, it's what's described in the title of it. So we go 1, 2, and then the first finger goes to the 2nd fret, 1, 2 again, 3rd fret, 4th, and then we go back. And then it's the 2nd finger substituting the 1st. And we go through all of that on all 6 strings. The next one would be 2, 3. The same principle, just with the 2nd and 3rd finger. You start in the 1st position. We have 3, 4. So as you can see, this is a very easy first step to prepare you for bigger jumps that are coming up and that we're also going to practice at some point. But right now, 3, 4. Combinations. So the next one we're going to do is 1, 3. fourth day where we're going to be focusing on legatos or slurs. So I would like to dedicate this one to chained slurs, you know, like slurs of 3 notes and 4 and 5. So we're going to go through all of that, and we're going to just use the first position. You can always do it also in the other positions. But yeah, I like to do all of the possible variations. So I start with the 6th string and then I do 0, 1, 3. And then I do 1, 2, 4. And 1, 3, 4. And I do all of them 2 times and then I go on to the next string. So obviously we want to aim for all of the notes to be as clear as possible. We know that we're only plucking the first one and the other 2 are achieved by hammer on in this case. So I'll just go through it once. The term hammer on because I think it's so on point also with the image that you should have in your head when you're doing hammer-ons. So when you want to nail something to the wall, you're not going like this because then you would lose precision, you would maybe hurt your fingers if you're holding the nail yourself. You don't go very far away, but you're very precise and also quick with it, and that's how we also want to treat slurs in general when it's a hammer-on. So I'm not doing that, but I'm staying close to the fretboard and the power is only in my fingers. Then we do the same thing, but now with the pull-off. You know, the same variant. So 3, 2, 0. 3, 1, 0. Then we have 4, 2, 1 and 4, 3, 1. Chain of 4 notes in a legato. So we're going to be playing 1, 2, 3, 4. And also as a pull-off. Like to do quintuplets, so I do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. As a pull-off, of course. cantos or slurs for today. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you in the next one tomorrow. Hello and welcome to the 5th day of the technical exercises. My name is Emma, and today we are focusing on stretching the left hand out. So this is an exercise shown to me by my first teacher, and actually it's very similar to the one I already did in my 1 hour long warm-up video, where I did this one. Very basic, having 1, 2, 3, 4 on from the 4th to the 1st string, and then stretching, moving one finger at a time. But in this one, we're having a bit of a different position of the left hand. So the 4th finger is on the 12th fret of the 1st string. The 2nd finger is on the 2nd string on the 10th fret. The 3rd finger is on the 3rd string on the 11th fret, and the 1st finger on the 4th string on the 9th fret. So instead of this, we've have that. So we've switched out 2 and 3. And actually I find this exercise in this position more comfortable when I first want to start with the stretching exercises for that day. I do this one first, and then the one that I showed in the warm-up. So I play this just as a chord, all the strings together. Got the 1st finger, 2nd. If this is your first time doing a stretching exercise for the left hand when you're playing guitar, please take it easy on yourself. I think it's great that it starts like this in the 9th position, obviously, where it's more easy to do this thing, and then maybe you manage to get just to the 5th position, which is completely okay. Don't force yourself, and especially don't force the left hand, because these kind of stretches are very demanding on the hand and on the fingers. So yeah, take care of that. And yeah, let me know if you've tried this one, and what do you think? Is it more comfortable than the other one when you first do a stretching exercise for that day? We'll see you in the next one. Hi, and welcome to our new video. So the last 2 days of the technical exercises series are going to be focused on finger independence in the left hand. And for today, we're going to use an exercise from Pumping Nylon by Scott Tennant. So I'm sure you guys already know this one. I'm sure that a lot of you already know this one, but nevertheless, I'm going to do it, and I love it. I think it's very fun. So you're going to start in the 5th position, and you're putting 2, 3, and 4 on the 3rd string on their respective frets, and you're keeping those fingers there. You're not going to move them. They're fixed right there. And then you play with the 1st finger, 5th string, and then 2nd. And then 6th string and 1st. Once again. Then you keep the 1st finger on the 3rd string, and now the 2nd one is going to be moving around. Now, if this feels awkward and difficult at first, that's completely okay. I had a student, when I showed her the exercise for the first time, she liked the principle of it very much. She found it super interesting and helpful, but also she was a bit discouraged because she couldn't get it, straight away. It was hard to move just one finger without the other ones moving or them staying on the string actually, or the stretch was too big, the sixth string was too far or whatever. You can actually modify the exercise, you can still do it, but with a slight modification. So let's say you start with the fixed fingers on the second string, and now you're just alternating between the third and first string with the finger that's not fixed. Then with the second. And third. And fourth. So the same principle, just some modification to make it a bit easier for you at first. And then you can also do it with the second and fourth string, or the fifth and third, or the sixth and fourth. That way you're also moving with the left hand position a bit, and it's a bit different than when we played it on third and first string. If that all goes well, the thing that you could do is then practice with two fingers, but they're alternating. They're not, playing the same string, of course, but the second finger is on the second string and the first is on the fifth, and then we switch it up. Then first and third, because we want to get through all the combinations. First and fourth. Second and third. Second and fourth. And third and fourth. How you liked this one, and if you've practiced it already, how it has helped your finger independence in the left hand. We'll see you tomorrow in the last episode of the series. Hello everyone, and welcome to the last day of our technical exercises series. And as I said, today we're also going to be focusing on finger independence, but a bit different this time. We don't have fixed finger, they're all going to be moving around one after the other, and that's what's going to make this exercise tricky to do. This one is from Käppel's Bible of the Classical Guitar Technique, and yeah, let's get into it. So you basically have two voices to play at the same time, so one after the other. They should always keep sounding, above each other, and you're not playing two notes at the same time. As I said, always one after the other, but we have to keep them on their string so we get the full effect of it, the full length of the note. The first one goes like this. So you have to be very careful to move just one finger at a time, and the others are staying on their respective frets. Once again. And the others are then variants of this exercise. So the B example. Once again. C, then we have D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, and M. So I really like this particular exercise because it kind of makes me forget which finger is which when I do it, and that's why I find it super fun to do, but yeah, in the beginning it can be tricky. So we hope you enjoyed this new project of ours at our channel. Let us know in the comments what you think and what exercises you would like to see in the next one next month. See you in the next video. Hello everyone and welcome to our new video. My name is Emma and today I'm going to be going through my full warm-up and technique routine, and you can follow along. I won't be talking too much, I will just be explaining the exercises a bit before I do them, and a couple of them are already on our YouTube channel, so the links will be in the description. So this is a routine that I do when I truly have time to do the full length of it. When I don't have as much time, I still like to warm up, but then it's significantly shorter. So I'm going to start with a very simple exercise for the right hand on open strings, free stroke all the time. And we already showed this exercise in our sound production video. So I'm putting the metronome on 80. thing that I forgot to mention is my nails do wear out very quickly and a lot, and I have a concert tomorrow, so I usually, when I do this routine, I do practice with tape, but I had to also today because I have a concert tomorrow. I don't want them to get too short, and the way that I tape them is actually a technique shown by David Russell on his website. We'll also link that below. So that's why sometimes it may sound a bit harsh because I'm wearing the tape. Okay, so the next exercise I do is for the left hand. It's like finger gymnastics, and it comes from Pepe Romero's technique book. I do it until the 5th position, but you can do it on the whole fret. I just do this to be a bit quicker there. And basically it's alteration always between two fingers in one position in the same fret on all strings. So first it's 1, 2, then we go back, then it's 2, 3, and after that it's 3, 4, and then you change the position, then you're in the 2nd position and you go further on from there. The next one is also from Pepe Romero, and the next one is in triplets. So we have 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. So first 1, 4 on the 6th string, and then 2 on the 5th, and 4th string, 1, 4, 2 on the 3rd, and so on. And of course you're also switching positions. So it sounds something like this. Going through the full fretboard and going back. I just like to make it a bit shorter. Afterwards I do the stretches. First I do the spider exercise, and I think this one is from Pumping Nylon, and I think that's called Odair's favorite drill or something like that. I think that's the one. If not, let me know. So it goes string. Right now I was doing second and fifth. And just to show you a bit of exercise, you have in the on the second string, if you're playing it on the second string, you have basically the chromatic, and here you have so you're always switching between 1-3 and 2-4. Now the sixth and first string. Other stretches, so playing like that, and I start in the 9th position with all the fingers on the strings, so the first finger is on the 4th string, then comes the 3rd, 2nd and 1st. And I move one finger at a time. The other way around, so we're also in the 9th position, but now the 4th finger is on the 4th string and so on. Next, I like to do scales, and before I do any kind of speed training, upping the speed in scale practice, I first like to go through 2 chromatic scales just to warm up my fingers. section. Finger combinations. So this was all on tempo 80, and now I like to start with tempo 60 and do a couple different scales and then go from there faster and faster. So I have one chromatic scale that I do, which would need a different video maybe to explain, so I'm just going to play it. It's a very fun one. That we already showed on the channel, so it's always having three 3 notes per string, so that you practice also the negative alterations when for example, if you're alternating between I and M, when the I finger is playing the higher string and M the lower. Play of course through the whole fretboard. The way I do it, I just only go to the 7th position, and I'm able to change all the different fingerings, so I M, M A, A M I, both rest stroke and free stroke. The next thing I do is the G major diatonic scale, so that goes from that goes through 3 octaves. The same thing, but in sextuplets. Next is tempo 100. how as I progress in speed with M and A it gets a bit sloppier. For me they were, and I think for most of us they were never ever the same as I and M, and 120 is my limit for M and A. But the reason why I like to practice it is that because in some scales and some pieces you will need to use A finger also. Also when you're alternating between I and M, sometimes you need to use A to avoid a certain string change, you know, that might be uncomfortable, and that's why I like to keep them to also practice with M and A and with I and A. After scales, I do on same tempos basically the arpeggios. And for arpeggios, I love to do the first lobo study and the second lobo study. And before that, I do just a couple of arpeggio exercises together with E major thirds. For slurs, I like to practice the third lobo study, and then after that a couple of slur exercises which have already been posted to the YouTube channel. do is, since I'm always doing this movement and we're always doing this movement in the right hand, I like to do the opposite movement also. So I just play the simple C major Segovia fingering scale with alternating fingers, but in the opposite direction of the plucking. Also with IA and MA. Also AMI. And after that, just a couple of rasgados. Enjoyed this video and this different style of video, and let us know in the comments if you need any further explanation or further videos on some of the exercises. And I hope that this could inspire you and maybe you take something out of it and take a couple of exercises into your own routine. So the routines, they change, you know, constantly. Couple of years ago, this was not at all my routine. Maybe there were a couple exercises that I was doing, but then the rest was completely different, and that's very normal. And also they're very flexible in terms of how many times you repeat something, or if you go through the whole fretboard or not. So you can always adjust things to your liking, to your schedule, and you know how much time you actually have to practice the technique exercises. We hope you enjoyed, so leave us a like, feel free to comment and also to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.